ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the Philippines to the United Arab Emirates, Her Excellency Quintana. Thank you. Madam.
Thank you so much, Andy, for those very nice words. And 30 years, congratulations, that's such a long time. Distinguished Congress delegates, participants, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to all of you. It is my delectable pleasure and honor to be speaking before such a dynamic and creative group of people, the chefs of the world. I thank the organizers, especially Worldchefs Congress Chairman, Mr. Andy Cuthbert, Chef Yui, President of the ECG, Emirates Culinary Guild, and their wonderful team. I recall that it was in 2019 when I first heard Andy and his associates talk about their hosting of this gathering. I happened to show up at the World of Food Abu Dhabi Food Festival, where they were gathered to attempt to break the world record for largest variety of desserts served. That's a picture of that. And it is good to see their plans now coming into fruition. Indeed, I felt delighted when I received an invitation to speak at this convention. Looking around and seeing so many culinary professionals gathered in one international event of this scale is truly exciting to see. It's also amazing to be a part of this Congress with such a long history. In fact, a history that is just 6 years short of a century. The Chefs' Congress has come back to the United Arab Emirates, and the UAE has again become the perfect gathering place, a place where people, ideas, and opportunities meet. This month, we respectfully pay tribute to His Highness Sheikh Khalifa. May God bless his soul, for leaving a legacy and policy of tolerance, diversity, and innovation. Values that are enjoyed by people today. Values that have turned the UAE into a crossroads of cultures and collaborations. Some may actually wonder what an ambassador like me is doing in a global gathering of chefs. Let me say at the outset that I feel at home in your company today. Because the things that we do are in many ways very similar in nature. Chefs are like diplomats because they connect minds, bridge cultures, and build mutual respect. Like ambassadors, chefs are keen to build relationships through their unique skills that show deep respect for cultural traditions. In the letter of invitation, the organizers asked if I could speak about my role as ambassador, specifically my work in promoting the food of the Philippines, especially in the context of the just concluded World Expo Dubai. In the next few minutes, allow me then to illustrate an example of a successful collaboration in the promotion of national cuisine on the global stage, where a movement of chefs played a key role. As you know, a good deal of the job of any ambassador involves promoting awareness about his or her country, especially by talking about the good things that his or her country can offer. Throughout my career as a diplomat, I have always thought that if I cannot bring people to the Philippines, then I would at least try to give them a taste of my country and the great Filipino hospitality. So this is where food comes in. As a new ambassador in the UAE in 2018, I saw then upcoming World Expo Dubai as a huge opportunity to showcase Filipino food to the world. But we needed to be ready. The National Pavilion we were constructing will have a restaurant built into it. And this can be the platform we need to put the Filipino food brand into global consciousness. Our promotion of our national cuisine has always been sporadic and lacking in strategy. Among the things the Philippines and the Filipinos are known for, food does not seem to rank at the top of the list. There was not yet a single image, nor a single flavor, that can be considered universally as uniquely Filipino. For this, we needed a team that can do the job. We needed people who can be the true champions and advocates who can put heart and soul into such a gargantuan mission. We needed the chefs. I have a very high respect and regard for chefs. I first had a realization of their star power and extraordinary influence back in August 2005. It was the year a Filipino, Miss Cristeta Pasia Comerford, or Chris for short, made history when she was named the White House Executive Chef. I can still remember what I was doing when the announcement was made. I was then serving in the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C., and was enjoying a short weekend holiday in New York when all the newscasters simultaneously made the announcement that balmy Sunday morning of August 14. I tell you, every TV channel I tuned into was talking about Chris and her being the first Filipino, the first Asian, the first person of color, and the first woman to be appointed the White House Executive Chef. It was a proud moment for Filipinos in the United States. The Asian American community hailed her, and I quote, as a pioneer in a professional field that is historically dominated by white men. Chris and I got introduced to each other later on, and we became friends not long after that. That's her in the White House. She was all too aware about the impact she has created in the U.S. mainstream society and wanted to do her part to fly the Philippine culinary flag. In fact, she was very excited when I told her that I'll be speaking here today. As I was in charge of public diplomacy in the embassy then, we did a few collaborations together which raised the profile of Filipino food in the U.S. Capitol. 17 years into her job, and 4 U.S. presidents having come and gone, Chris is still making history. Just 5 days ago, she received French President Macron's insignia of Ordre du Mérite Agricole for her contributions to culinary diplomacy. The chefs in the UAE could emulate the example of Chris and take the center stage. It was, however, a bit of a challenge to find the Filipino chefs. Although I know that Dubai and Abu Dhabi were teeming with Filipino culinary talents, my chef compatriots were mostly happy to be working behind the scenes and basking in anonymity. I thought this has got to change. For Filipino food to be known, the Filipino chefs should come out of their shell and be at the front and center. Almost on cue, a new group with a mission to promote Philippine food was being formed around the same time. It is called PhilFood. It is composed of Filipinos in the F&B industry, and we had a common dream, and that was for the world to start noticing Philippine cuisine. Together, we brainstormed on how to do it. We both agreed that we need to find the Filipino chefs as the first step. The help of the Emirates Culinary Guild became a game changer. Through the ECG, we were able to reach out to the Filipinos in their membership roster and started creating a new Filipino food movement. The first meeting took place in Abu Dhabi in May 2019, and it became the start of a very productive and interesting journey. With PhilFood taking the lead, we were able to develop a core group. It would soon become a great partnership. I would later on see the chefs in every event organized by PhilFood. PhilFood organized them like a series in Netflix, with various episodes in each season, networking conferences, food festivals, tasting events, and curated galas. I actually lost track of the seasons. It had the momentum of a real movement, and the members were committed to do it for the long haul. We were beginning to feel that we were getting somewhere, and we were gaining the needed visibility. We were also beginning to establish connections with similar movements in Europe and the United States, motivated by the same passion to introduce Filipino food to the world. Our Philippine cuisine advocates from San Francisco and Switzerland traveled to UAE to partner with PhilFood and start serious conversations on how to sustain the common vision. And by the time the World Expo Dubai was about to begin in October 2021, we were ready. Through research and determination, the PhilFood team was able to create a menu that showcased the best of Filipino food at our national pavilion. It was well received throughout the Expo's 6-month run among the million-plus people who visited the Philippines pavilion. Filipino cuisine is starting to have its own distinct and distinguishable quality and identity. By the time the Expo ended, the pavilion's mangrove restaurant was named winner in casual dining by the Expo Eats Awards. This was a remarkable feat considering the host of other high-quality restaurants at the Expo, making the competition very stiff. It was indeed a wonderful collaboration and culinary diplomacy, with the chefs playing a key role. The journey is certainly far from over. We should continue to support our chefs in putting the Filipino trademark in their culinary creations. What is next? This was answered by PhilFood when they went to the Philippines right after the World Expo and went on a tour of the Philippines' culinary capitals to rediscover the origins of our national cuisine. The Expo experience have given PhilFood chefs continued confidence to keep making their own imprint in Filipino classical dishes. And as the movement finds its own voice, we are able to develop a cadre of culinary ambassadors who will insist on authenticity, thereby developing a market for Filipino ingredients and adding more value to the lives of farmers, fisher folks, artisans, producers, and everyone else in the ecosystem who bring food to the table. As the movement acquires its own momentum, we could and expect to see the chefs collaborating more and more with each other in the future and finding new ways to design food for the world. Many international Filipino chefs visited the Philippines in recent years and discovered abundant source of sustainable food and authentic flavors from our world-famous sweet pineapples, mangoes, bananas, and calamansi, to artisanal cacao, ube, and organic coconut-based products that are now finding their way to kitchens and plates around the world. I am deeply blessed to see this kind of camaraderie and creativity. I thank the Emirates Culinary Guild for being a big part of this amazing journey. For us, the theme Rising Together is not just about overcoming the challenges of the pandemic, but it is about seeing how the depth and breadth of the interactions in this Congress can produce more and more opportunities for collaboration, the kind that should ignite new passions. Again, it has been a pleasure for me to participate in this conference, and thank you once again for the opportunity to share my own experience in working with our wonderful culinary partners. Please do stick around as we give you a taste of the Philippines brought to you by our pride and delight, chef and culinary explorer, Chef John Benaventura. Thank you, and more power to you all.
Ambassador Quintana, thank you so much. Chef Uwe, if you can